It was all looking so promising for LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. This was back on Christmas Day at Oracle Arena in Oakland. Ticket prices were through the roof, reports of $1,000 US nosebleeds on the secondary market. And the Lakers appeared like a team on the rise. Despite losing James to a third-quarter groin injury, LA cruised to a blowout win over the team that's won 3 of the past 4 NBA championships. After what seemed like a landmark victory against an elite opponent, with LA's win-loss record boosted to 20-14, everything seemed possible. LeBron James was supposed to lead the Los Angeles Lakers to the playoffs. But even James, who has played more than 10,000 minutes over the past 13 postseasons, couldn't take the troubled team that far. Jonathan Bachman, Getty Images. Eastern-based teams like the Toronto Raptors, who had been tormented for years by James's uncanny ability to turn mediocre talent collections into championship contenders, were counting themselves lucky. After 3 straight seasons that had seen Toronto knocked out of the playoffs by a LeBron-led Cleveland team, the great player's move to the Pacific Coast meant he would mercifully be making a mockery of Western Conference game plans when the playoffs rolled around. That Christmas Day win over Golden State, while it seemed to momentarily legitimize James's decision to sign a 4-year deal with the Lakers, temporarily emboldened James's LA teammates. Guard Josh Hart told reporters, "The narrative is that it's LeBron and the Lakers. Obviously we hope he's okay, but we've got a lot of good players. If he's down, we're ready to step up. None of us are scared of the spotlight." Fear of the fame's harsh glare, as it turns out, wasn't the issue. Talent, or lack thereof, clearly was. Ditto injury, and IA's collective inability to avoid it. James, never mind the $1 million plus he reportedly spends annually on pampering his 34-year-old body, missed 18 of the next 19 games, by far the longest duration absence of his otherwise near-injury-proof career. With him in the lineup, the Lakers won 6 times over that span. And ever since, up to and including Monday night's 113-105 loss to the LA Clippers, all that Yuletide promise has disintegrated into late winter doomsaying. The NBA playoffs, remember, begin in about 5 weeks, on April 13th. That date coincides with the 3rd round of the Masters tournament, the first weekend of the Stanley Cup tournament, and the day before the Game of Thrones Season 8 premiere. So there'll be plenty of stuff to do when Kawhi Leonard's eternal practice wraps up and the important stuff begins. But speaking of Thrones, the second weekend of April likely also be a moment to pay respects to the end of a reign. As of Tuesday, the Lakers' probability of making the postseason was estimated by basketball-reference.com to be approximately 0.1%. LeBron James has been to the playoffs for 13 consecutive seasons, but he's almost certainly not making it a 14th straight time. And who could have seen it coming? James, after all, has been a playoff machine for what seems like eons. Since James first made the postseason in 2006, he's played in a remarkable 239 playoff games. That's 78 more playoff games than the next player on the list over that time span. Amazingly, James has played more than 10,000 minutes over the past 13 postseasons. Nobody else in the league has played as many as 6,000. The playoffs without James will be a foreign concept, another planet. The last time the NBA's 16-team bracket proceeded without James in the mix, Twitter didn't exist. Neither did Instagram. Steve Nash was in the midst of his run as the back-to-back NBA MVP. He's 45 years old now. The average NBA team took about 16 three-pointers a game. They're taking closer to a shade under 32 today. It was a different game played in a different way. And yet James, for all those years until this one, had the processing power and physical prowess to adapt to any stylistic tweak. James and the playoffs have been only slightly more synonymous than James and the NBA Final, where he's led his team each of the past 8 years. Bill Russell can rest easy knowing his record of 10 straight NBA final appearances remains as unfathomable as it always has. In the East, where there's been rejoicing since July 1st, when James announced his intention to sign in LA, there's a novel unexpectedness in the air, one the Raptors can only hope to convert into a franchise first trip to the championship series. Before this year, James as the conference's representative was as bankable as the coaches whose schemes he decimated became fireable. Even if a healthy Warriors lineup seems destined to win the franchise's fourth title in 5 years come June, a non-LeBron team will call itself the Eastern champion for the first time since a Celtics team led by Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen vanquished James and the Cavaliers in the second round back in 2010, but less than a few months ago, this was hardly a given. There have been chemistry issues in the interim, a public play to trade for Anthony Davis causing damage that's been hard to quantify but difficult to deny. There have been other Lakers injuries since, too. A bad ankle has kept Lonzo Ball on the shelf since Jan. 19 Rajon Rondo missed 17 games to hand surgery. Brandon Ingram missed Monday night's game with a sore shoulder. The Lakers had just 8 players fit and dressed for Tuesday's practice. "It's tough times right now," Luke Walton, the Lakers coach, told reporters after Tuesday's practice. "It's been a challenge. It's been a lot of ups and downs. Between on-court stuff, off-court stuff, it's tested us. But I think we are a group. We've come together as a group." If you thought that sounded a lot like Ottawa Senators GM Pierre Dorian's infamous answer to a question about what made him optimistic about his Raggedy franchise's future, you wouldn't be wrong. Dorian, back in September, said, "We're a team." Walton, on Tuesday, pointed out, "We are a group. Bleak stuff, indeed." One assumes King James will not be representing the Lakers at the draft lottery. If only it could be Christmas every day. Dave Fezchik is a Toronto-based sports columnist. Follow him on Twitter, @Divashock Report, and air journalistic standards about the star sports action and reaction delivered to your inbox. New NEWSLETTERSPORTSIGN up.